Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Cindy Thompson.
I'm Monica Haidt,
And I'm Chelsea Duff.
and this is the exciting conclusion to Nic May-ge.
Whoop, 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 whoop,
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
whoop.
Woo! Yeah, like I said at the end of the last episode, this is the entire reason that I wanted to do this entire theme month was just to do this movie right now. But actually, there's some interesting comparisons between last week's movie and this week's movie to be
For
made.
sure. Yeah.
So I wasn't really thinking about that at the time, but actually, yes, I was, because I'm always thinking big picture. Of course, that's the thing about me.
We love a through
Think
line.
about
We love a
Monica.
through line. Yeah, no, I'm always thinking ahead. Of course, it's all part of the master plan.
A clear reference.
It's always a clear reference with us. But we are doing a movie that is very near and dear to my heart. This is 2018's Mandy. And I'm going to dive right into the IMDb logline, or else I'll forget. So here it goes. The enchanted lives of a couple in a secluded forest are brutally shattered by a nightmarish hippie cult and their demon biker henchmen, propelling a man into a spiraling, surreal rampage of vengeance. There are so many juicy words in that.
I know.
That was like $1,000 sentence. Like, that was crazy. They went in.
Expensive. That's where
I'm
they
enchanted, henchman, secluded, surreal rampage of vengeance.
Wow.
It's fitting. It's fitting.
Eat it up.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. And I'll start off just by saying this movie is directed by Panos Cosmatos. Excuse me, I almost just added 5 letters that didn't exist. And he's a really interesting director. I didn't know that he has not like the largest breadth and depth of body of work. He hasn't done that many movies.
I
but
think
he
this was
also,
his second one when it came out. I don't know if
yeah,
he's done more since.
this is his second movie ever. And the first one is called Beyond the Black Rainbow. It came out in 2010.
His dad directed Rambo.
Yeah.
Like,
And his mom's like a sculptor. Yeah.
Wow.
So
I
he's
can
got a
see the
very
influence in his
artistic
work.
family. But yeah, this was like kind of like the other side of the coin to his earlier work Beyond the Black Rainbow, which I really want to see now that I know that.
I saw someone on Reddit say it's kind of very similar vibey stuff like this one, but even like less coherent plot. So really you're
Yeah.
just like experiencing.
Yeah, like I was reading some interviews with Panos and he was saying that like this is the more emotive movie, whereas Beyond the Black Rainbow is more of a sterile environment. But it's interesting because they're both inspired by the death of his parents.
I saw that.
Yeah, so I read this piece
Which is
here and-
interesting with his mom being an artist and his dad being the director of Rambo, because that does seem to line up with Red and Mandy here.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting because he said there's a quote from him. He said, I started writing Mandy at the same time I was writing Rainbow after the death of my father, which sort of compounded on the top of the death of my mother, which I had sublimated and completely suppressed and not dealt with because she had died 10 years prior, something like that, apparently. So I think it's really interesting to see how he dealt with the grief in 2 different ways. And this is like Mandy is like the explosive, like burst of grief that is just like untamable. I didn't know that before watching this. I've seen this movie a couple times now, and I didn't know about that context, and it really like enriched the experience for me to see like how, because like that's what it's really about. It's like it's a revenge movie, and that's what he was really inspired by, was all of these amazing revenge movies of yesteryear. What a great concept. Something bad happens and then you go fucking ape shit to get revenge. That's a very human experience. But like adding in like the insanity of grief and like the pent up aggression that Panos might have been feeling in his own life, I thought that was really, really interesting.
Well, it's interesting too because IMDb trivia said that when he first approached Nick Cage for this project, he wanted Nick Cage to play the cult leader, and he
Yeah.
really was like viewing the story as like an old versus young sort of dynamic, and then exploring like the changeover of generations or something like that, maybe. But Nick Cage was like, "No, I want to play Red." And Panos was kind of like, okay, I guess we're not making the movie together then. And then like a year later, Elijah Wood, who, as we mentioned at the end of last episode, is one of the producers, like facilitated a meeting between them again, and like talking about it through this new lens of like grief and loss, and
Yeah.
love really being the center of it. It was like, okay, actually now I see the vision and it makes sense to have Nick Cage be in this role instead. And with him like recontextualizing it as like, oh, it turns out I was processing the death of my parents. I think that's so interesting, and such an interesting, instead of it being like a young couple tragically on their own or whatever, it's like this
No,
like life
totally.
that they've lived together, and when you lose that, and etc.
Yeah, no. The that's really, I thought that was really interesting. I love that Elijah Wood could like just
Bridge the
have
gap.
this calming presence that made this movie happen.
That's
He's
how I
incredible.
think of him.
Classic
I,
Elijah Wood.
he's such a freak. I fucking love him. He comes in, he's a great guy, and whenever he's involved, you know, it's gonna be some wackadoo crazy shit.
Yeah,
Positive. That is not a derogatory statement. That's what I'm
that's a
looking for in a
compliment.
movie. That's a compliment. Um, but yeah, I thought that was really interesting too, like knowing that Nicolas Cage was gonna be this other character. That was the original idea. Because I do see a lot of parallels between, oh, and let me get the name of that character. Jeremiah Sand, who is the leader of the Children of
Children
the
of the New
New
Dawn.
Dawn.
Dawn. Children of the New Dawn, yeah. Um, he, it's not the same. It's not the same, but I feel like that role does have some similarities to Nicolas Cage's role in Long Legs. And so I wonder if he had done that role, if he would have even taken the Long Legs role. I feel like there's a lot of conversation between those two movies as well too, just like how they relate to music and stuff as well, which this music for this movie is something that's really, really special. The composer, let me get his name, Johan Johansson, I believe is what it is. This was his final work, and he actually passed away the month after it released. And he's done a ton of stuff. Um, but that was really tragic. I think that the music is one of like the strongest parts
Oh, for
of this
sure.
movie. It's so atmospheric. It's so interesting. And like it's obviously inspired by like the heavy metal artists that, you know, Red and Mandy are obsessed with because they're wearing all these band tees the entire time.
Black
But like,
Sabbath.
yeah, but he's doing his total own thing with it and bringing in the like surrealist aspects of it to make
The
you
like
feel like
way it
you're on
was.
LSD.
I feel like a lot of, and maybe this is again just my Stranger Things influence, but I get the sense that 80s metal was playing with like fantasy a lot, and like
Yeah.
the concept of like fantasy worlds and magic and monsters.
Yes,
And
there's
that
so
really
much.
is the life of this movie in many ways.
Watching this movie made me really wish that I had been alive in the 80s because there's just like such an insane, interesting like zeitgeist of media that like I've only dabbled in as a 90s baby. But they are just really, the whimsy was like fully charged. There was whimsy every second. Like holy
Especially
shit.
the early 80s, because like the late 70s like still bled into
Uh-huh.
the early 80s.
Yeah.
And you've got
Especially in
this
their
like,
house. It looks like they got it 10 years
yes.
ago and never changed it.
Exactly. So like you got this like really fun kind of like megla mesh of 70s, and like the 80s was still trying to figure itself out, and you're just like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, no, because this movie, as it starts out with, in the Enchanted Forest, is that what it's called? Or no, what is it
It's
called? The Shadow Mountain.
yeah.
Right near Crystal Lake.
Neil
I
Crystal Lake! Friday the
know.
13th reference. I love, there's so many references in this. It's crazy. But
Yeah.
it starts in the year of our Lord, 1983, after death,
Great
AD. I
year.
loved that. I really love that. And I also just love, I love when movies do like funny little segments like
Like
that.
title cards for each like chapter.
It doesn't always work, but I really liked it in this one. And I didn't even recognize that we had the actual title card of Mandy like 75 minutes into the movie. Like I saw it obviously, but I didn't think about like, oh shit, yeah, that's a late
Yeah.
title card. I just was like, yes, this is the part that's about Mandy now. Of course, you're so right. Whatever you say, Panos. Um, But yeah, one of the movies we were just talking about this, me and Sydney. But one of the biggest influences for this movie was an animated film from 1981 called Heavy Metal.
Which I really want to do for a Fifth Tuesday.
I've been dying to see this movie for fucking years. We were just in Burbank last week and we were like shopping around in the spooky district on Magnolia. And there we saw like a whole bunch of heavy metal stuff in this one really cool store. What was the name of that store? I want to give it a shout out. This very cool old guy, and he has like all these old books and like
And
pulp novels,
posters and stuff like that.
posters.
Um,
It,
hold on.
it's across the street from Halloween Town.
Yeah, I'm
And
gonna
you're
keep
down there.
googling.
Little street view.
Yeah,
But it's right next to the like horror
bodega.
bodega. Yeah, there's a horror bodega now, and it's just like horror snacks and like an alien. Like I don't know. It's very cute in there.
Burbank, it's got
Mints
everything.
that are Michael Myers flavored. I don't want to taste that.
What does that mean?
I don't know. But yeah, heavy metal is like this insane um like trip of a movie,
Bless you.
obviously
And it's
inspired, bless you,
animated.
animated by heavy metal music. And the art style is super similar to those little like cutscenes that we get throughout the
Cartoons.
movie. Yeah. Which also feel like they're kind of like embodiments of Mandy's work because like she is an artist and she makes beautiful, stunning, gorgeous fantasy drawings, which I fucking love. Um and I watching this movie again today, I was noticing like obviously there's a bunch of Easter eggs in a fucking crazy movie like this, but like the book she was reading at the beginning is sort of like it predicts like the end of the film, or not exactly. It's not exact, but it like it
The
describes the setting that you see as Nicolas Cage drives away at the very end of the movie. Which I had not noticed that before either. Um, but it also seems similar to maybe the plot of Heavy Metal, because throughout those cutscenes, you see Mandy pulling out like that glowing green orb, and so the description for Heavy.
the what it says in the book
Oh
is
yeah,
that
read
it's
that if you have it.
under the crimson primordial sky, surrounded by the jagged rocks of the ancient volcanic mountain, the wretched warlock reached into the dark embrace of the fissure until his hand touched a smooth, glassy surface, cold as ice. His fist closed around the serpent's eye. Slowly, he withdrew it and held it before him in the fading light of the blood-red suns. It glowed from within, a ghostly emerald light, strange and eternal.
Oh, it's so yeah. Because I was thinking like, oh, is it going to be like a literal thing? Because there is that part at the end. Sorry, we're talking about the end. Maybe we shouldn't talk about the end.
No,
I don't know.
whatever. It's our
Whatever.
podcast.
Fuck it, we've all.
Fuck it,
Like
you guys. Spoiler
after he
alert.
spoiler it's the end. At the end when he smashes Jeremiah's head, Slay, and his eyeball pops out. I was like, okay, the eyeball, they talk about the eye, something, something. And I was like, is there going to be like a green orby glow, whatever? No, there's not. It's not that literal. But throughout like the cartoon drawings, she literally like reaches into the beast
Yeah.
and pulls out the orb, the green orb. And then for heavy metal, the IMDb description, and again, I haven't watched it, so if I sound like a dumb bitch, sorry. You can nominate me later. A glowing green orb that embodies ultimate evil terrorizes a young girl with an anthology of bizarre and fantastic stories. So it's the same glowing green orb thing. So I think it's definitely directly inspired. Obviously, it's directly inspired, but like literally, the orb, I think, is from heavy metal. It's the same orb of evil. My God.
Also, I found it.
What?
It's Hollywood Bookend Poster collectible store.
Hollywood Book and Poster.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh
Shout
my
out
God,
to
you should
them
go there.
because I love that store.
It was super cool. There's honestly really
The
cool
man
stuff
was
in
so
there.
nice.
It's like a place where you have to like hunt around and you find little gems. Incredible.
They also
Incredible,
have
incredible.
T-shirts and magazines and books and posters.
Like schlocky paperbacks, like sci-fi books and horror books and stuff. They had a
tried to-
Vampirella book.
I tried to convince Monica to get a what was it?
Bakersfield PD
PD
hat. Because I was born there in Bakersfield, but no, I wasn't. And I didn't get it because no cops. Even
Because you
in
weren't born there,
Bakersfield.
you have no association.
I wasn't born there. I have no association. What are you talking about? Okay, one other inspiration that I thought was fucking amazing for this, and then we can go into like the plot and stuff. Oh my God, sorry, I have a fan blowing and it keeps putting my wig in my mouth, and I'm gonna cut my face off. I'm gonna go crazy. Yeah, I didn't
Did you
grow.
say wig?
Wig.
Oh yeah. Whoa. No, I just grew out really long, spooky, creepy black hair and I cut my eye open. No, I'm dressed as Mandy. For those who don't subscribe to our YouTube channel, I'm looking at you. Oh, by the way, we hit 500. Slay!
We're thrilled.
We're thrilled. We're very excited. Thank you so much if you subscribed. If you didn't,
That's really
get on
weird.
it.
That's really weird,
It's
you
weird.
guys.
It's really weird. It's honestly
Everybody's
weird.
talking about how you haven't subscribed yet, and it's getting weird.
And it's
Everybody
getting really
knows.
awkward
And
in
it's us.
chat. It's getting awkward. um okay, hold on. I have a word. Yes, okay. I just guess what word I had to search in my notes to find this. You won't
What
guess.
were you looking for?
I'm about to tell you. The word I searched is hog. Okay, that's your that's all you get so far. No, but Panos Cosmatos was like really inspired by his own life experience for this movie. Obviously, we already talked about that. But I think another thing, back to what we were talking about earlier, Chelsea, you're mentioning like the schism between Nick Cage and Panos with the age thing. I think he really was seeing himself as Red. Obviously, this makes sense to do a self insert if he's going through his own grief and he's a character that's going through grief in an explosive way. That makes sense. That's maybe why he saw him as a slightly younger guy. Also, don't know how old Panos Cosmatos is, but actually did see him in person, and he looked to be a youthfuler man than Nicolas Cage.
He's 51 now.
So he's younger than Nicolas Cage.
He's 10
On
years
God.
younger, yeah.
Exactly. There you go. Anyway, so he was inspired by like actual people that he saw in his life, and I have a quote from him of what his inspiration for Red was, and it's a little long, but I think it's worth it. So Red Miller, that's the name of Nicolas Cage's character, was inspired by this neighbor that was around when I was a very young kid and we lived in Guadalajara, Mexico. One of our neighbors in this bungalow complex was a drug cop, like a narc. He had long black hair and he wore aviator glasses and practiced firing his Magnum 44 at the outer wall of the complex. But nobody could do anything because he's a cop, and he would run around on his Harley. And one day he was out there and I was playing on the grass and there was a thunderstorm brewing in the sky and it was apocalyptic with gray clouds and lightning. Do you feel the vibes coming in? Here we go. He came burning around the corner on his hog with his lady clinging to his back. And this was in the late 70s. And he saw me and he went, I don't understand what sound this is supposed to be. Whir.
That's the
WRR.
motorcycle.
he
Yeah,
he came up. Okay, that makes sense. I read this and I was like, why would he make that noise? I'm an idiot.
Hey, kid!
I was like, he's insane. It kind of made sense with the whole Nicolas Cage portrayal, so I didn't bat an eye. He came up and he did a 180 right in front of me with the lightning above him. And in my mind, that was the genesis of Red Miller right there. He came up and he went, "Rah, rah, rah."
It's also giving Ghost Rider a little bit.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, they had to make him ride an ATV in this movie instead of a hog because they didn't want Ghost Rider connotations. Like that's probably in Nicolas Cage's contract. Um, but then he also had different inspiration for Mandy herself. Um, when he was a kid, he used to go to this shitty fair. I'll read the quote now. I was probably around 8 or 10 years old, and there was this stall that was selling ZZ Top wallets or like metal band wallets, like the Velcro kind. And I was like, oh, they have a ZZ Top wallet? I want that. And this woman was working selling them, and she was obviously a metalhead. She wore glasses, and as a young boy, for some reason, I fell in love with her. And when I walked away, I forgot the wallet. And she was like, hey. And my heart leapt. And I was like, oh my, she's calling me back. And I turned around and she was like, you forgot your fucking wallet. You forgot your ZZ Top wallet, kid. So that was the inspiration for Mandy, just these random people from his past. But
What if we fell in love and we were in love for a long time and we lived in the Pacific Northwest in our own private abode, but then one day something bad happened
something
because
terrible.
anybody who saw her would fall in love instantly, and what if one of those guys was bad?
Okay, also, it's kind of giving adult Twilight.
What? You're right. It is. It is. It's just like it is. Well, it is
Like
in the way
they're
where
up in
it's
the
like,
Pacific Northwest, they're living
Uh-huh.
alone, and then a group of bad guys come in wanting to kill the girl. But this time they succeed, and then Edward, aka Nicolas Cage, goes on a killing rampage.
The
well, it all
Twilight vibes really just bled over from last week.
there's a lot of Twilight energy. But no, also like more to your point, Sydney, like it's also the like terrible serendipity. Like the fact that like if they hadn't have done that fateful baseball game,
Okay.
If the wind hadn't shifted.
if the wind hadn't shifted, then James never would have caught the scent. And same thing, like if Mandy like had left for work 5 minutes later or 5 minutes earlier or something like that, or just had been looking the other way and didn't make eye contact with fucking Jeremiah, everything would be different. But yeah, I
It
thought,
is kind of like a fate thing, though, because the way it's
yeah,
portrayed in that scene, too, it's like that's still part of part one, the Shadow Mountains. And it's like she reads that excerpt from the book. And then it is like immediately cuts to like the woods and like spooky woods. And then it fades into the like ethereal red foggy woods that she slowly emerges from just in time to be the object of his desire walking down the street. So it's a very like
yeah.
the narrative unfolds.
No, it's super interesting because yeah, it
And the
does
way her
feel
face
faded.
like comes away from her, the way they do that effect of like it's haunting him, even as she's walking away. It's like her face is still popping up, and then
It was faded in that way, and then also like Red has like that premonition almost where he's like, you need, I think we should move away from here. Like he sensed the evil coming. But you know, she wanted to stay because that's where she felt the safest. So, you know, now as we get into the talk of predestination versus I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
once again, we love to live there.
We love it. We love it. Um, no, but it is sad. It's such a it's like a tragic love story. It's like a it feels like a Greek myth or something, you know, where it's just like there's never going to be a positive uh resolution. She was
Which they
always
kind of
gonna
like narratively touch on a little bit in the sense of like mythology with like, oh, what's your favorite planet? And he says, oh, I changed my mind. My favorite is Galactus, who eats the planets.
But Saturn is such a great Option.
The mythology around Saturn.
Yeah, apparently, like, she loves Jupiter and he is supposed to be like Jupiter. Like, he has the, like, eternal storm brewing in him that begins with her death. And then
Jupiter's
he,
also the planet of luck and abundance.
so maybe things will go really well for him after he has murdered all of these people who deserve to die. So
Maybe
it's fine.
he was able to murder all of them because of the luck and abundance.
I don't know.
Oh.
Saturn for him
Oh.
feels right. Saturn is like, stuff's probably gonna go wrong. It's not that like it's gonna like it's hardship. It's like a father kind of like energy. Also, you'll age backwards.
Yeah. I feel like
The older you are, the hotter you get.
that's
But also
good.
too like
That might be true for Nic Cage.
also too like with work and stuff, like you might find success and stuff later in life.
Yeah. I feel like it could go either way because I think that also makes sense for Saturn for her as this like beautiful mythic character who like, he can no longer touch. I don't know. It's I there's so many little interesting details that I don't really know what all of them mean. Like what did you guys think about the starling story? The birds when she told that story of her childhood about her father hating the starlings. Um One thing I'll say as a birder is if that happened in California, they are invasive in this area. But
So we'd give him
I
a medal.
no, let me finish. I only saw them for the first time recently because they like migrate through during this time of year. And they are so cute. So I don't care if they're invasive. They're pretty. Leave them alone. Don't hit them with a crowbar. Don't teach children murder. What
I
the
think
fuck?
you could see that kind of as like her being like innocent and pure and things wanting to corrupt her, but she's like, no, I'm fine and perfect. Just kind of like how the deer, like the dead deer, which was it a dream? Did it really
Yeah, was
happen?
that Red's
Was it a
dream?
stillbirth? Was it sick? I was like, what's going on with this little fawn?
But like that could be like an omen of like your little bubble world is about to be
I
messed up.
Anything
I
perfect
totally agree
must
with you
die.
there. But it's like, oh, she's like frolicking in her idyllic wonderland of the enchanted forest of the Shadow Mountain. But then there's like this
On the Crystal
tragedy
Lake. Like
on the Crystal Lake. But it's always gonna go bad if you're on the Crystal Lake. Come
nothing good
on.
happens on Crystal Lake. Everybody
No, it's
knows
a
that.
beautiful name for a lake, but bad vibes.
I would also argue that it is a good narrative omen is the word that I'm going to use, I guess, but it's not really the
That's
word that I'm
fine.
reaching for. But it is good foreshadowing.
There you go.
For
Narrative
yes,
omen slays though.
her being able to like resist the peer pressure of that moment of like asking her to give in to cruelty or to go along with the crowd is representative later of even under extreme
Yeah.
duress and influence she's able to
Yes.
resist the
I
influence
totally
of
agree.
Jeremiah. And also I think it goes to her like general ethos of like he's like, should we leave? Like, should we not be like living here so remote out in the wilderness anymore? And she's like, I like it here. Like, she does not want to be around other people. She's seen how ugly other people can be. She wants to be in her little bubble with the people that she loves and trusts and knows to
That's
be
her
gentle and kind
man.
for the most part, or when they need to be, etc. Tend the land. He's a lumberjack.
Seriously.
Let's not forget.
Oh, lest we forget, my God. He's such a lumberjack. Look at him. The way that they
Yeah.
did his costuming and his facial hair. He looks really good in this. He looks great. And then he looks insane. But like good at that. That's his thing. Um, yeah, I love a movie like this that has so much in every moment. Excuse me. And also like bisexual lighting like 99% of the time. That's what I'm looking for. Um let's dive into the cult a little bit more though. The children of the
New Dawn.
New Dawn. I was like, what? I was overthinking it. I was like,
The
what
children
kind
of
of dawn?
New Moon. The
The
children of
children
Breaking
of
Dawn.
New Moon.
Big New
The
Dawn.
children
big Twilight
of
vibes.
Twilight Eclipse.
So funny. Yeah, because like that's when we get into like sort of the like references to serial killers of the past in these movies or in this movie, excuse me. But they even start out with a quote. The movie starts with a quote from a convicted murderer, which I did not know. That quote at the beginning is, when I die," this is written on the screen. It says, "When I die, bury me deep. Lay 2 speakers at my feet. Put some headphones on my head and rock and roll me when I'm dead." And they belong to real life convicted murderer Douglas Allen Roberts, who uttered them when strapped to a cruciform gurney. I'm like, okay, what?
That must be one that like has your arms out to the side.
Yeah. So it starts off with that energy, and then we get our little Manson wannabe with the Children of the New Dawn. And I am obsessed with them. Unfortunately, they are bad people, but I'm obsessed with them. Every single one of them. What a cast of characters.
It's so interesting that they pulled that quote from that guy though, because the words are slightly different on screen for part of it. I looked
Oh,
up
really?
the quote from the guy, and it's like you read, but on screen it says "wrap some headphones around my head." So it's like
Oh,
what? It's like such a slight little difference. You know what I mean? Like it's not, it doesn't change the meaning at all. But I wonder, like, at what point in the evolution, I wonder if it got used in a song or something at some point. Like if there was like a midpoint reference
yeah, it
between
feels like a
A and
song
Z,
lyric.
maybe. I definitely thought it was like a song lyric or a poem.
Yeah, maybe it was a song lyric and he also is a murderer. Let's find
Maybe it
out.
was a song lyric and he was quoting the song, but those were his last words and it became, I mean, I don't know. I'll continue to look it up,
The
perhaps, or I
last
won't.
words of death row inmates. This is coming up on that. Yeah, no, this is nope. Nope. That's what he said. He knew he was gonna die, and so he wrote something cunty. And you know what? Good for him. That is cunty, but that's really fucking creepy. Um. Anyway,
Fernandez quoted Robert Perkinson, the author of a book about the Texas prisons. Oh, this is maybe unrelated. Never mind. Sorry, I thought for a second I was like, oh, he was quoting something, but no.
no, he just thought about it. He had a long time, and he thought about it, and he wrote something. Um. Okay, creepy. But anyway, I'm obsessed with the cult. I'm obsessed with the cult. I'm obsessed with everyone who's in the cult. I am obsessed with fucking Owlin. How do you say her last name? The woman with the gray hair who's in this movie is a certified scream queen. She is in so many things. Um, Nobody liked the Watchers, but I did, and she is one of the main characters in this movie, and her name is fucking Alwyn. Like, that's incredible. She is so amazing. She has such an incredible face. And I think it really like set the tone of the dynamics for the cult. Her scene with Jeremiah, she obviously like what has been around for a very long time and maybe used to be his favorite and now has fallen out of favor, and it's so obvious that she's like so desperate for him. Oh god, she's also in fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2022 one that everybody hated, but I watched it and I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I definitely got the sense that she was maybe like the first woman or one of the first women that he pulled into his cult, and she could have been like a sexy older woman at the time, but
Yeah.
now as she's like aged out and he started looking for young things, the
Now he's
her
got
position in the
Sister
hierarchy has
Lucy.
shifted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was I saw on IMDb trivia that that song he plays for Mandy when he's trying to indoctrinate her is on Bandcamp. They uploaded it on Bandcamp, and they also uploaded a 17-minute long track called My Journey, in which he like tells the story of how he came to be in such a position. So I listened to it, of course. And
All
he
17 minutes.
well, 17 minutes. And what did you say her name was in this movie?
Mother
Like her
Marlene.
character's name? Okay, yeah, that's her. It was like at one point in the journey, after his name was Jeremy Reitgart originally, by the way, and his parents were rich but abusive / neglectful, and then he offed them
Okay.
to have their money after he had already started a mini cult within his like fellow high school of like people he felt would be like loyal to him and have allegiance, and they all drank each other's blood.
I should have started a
Um,
cult in high school.
and you could have killed your
That was
parents
the
and
prime
been
time.
rich and then really rolled with it. But after he used up all of his money trying to make his album, he discovered the world was actually not ready for his greatness.
Classic.
And yeah, and then he like tried to follow this other guy. I don't remember the exact chronology, but he got like beat up by some rock and roll guy's bodyguards who's like, basically leave me alone. And that night Jeremy Reitgart died and Jeremiah Sams was born. And at one point he does a lot of drugs. And then he realizes that God gave him this role as like a savior. And he
It's
goes to a
giving Charles
church.
Manson.
It's
Yeah.
100%. All of the music stuff, that is Charles Manson, who was like trying to be best friends with one of the guys from the Beach Boys to be like, hey, like I'm a musician too. And anyway, he goes to like a church and basically goes, hey guys, like actually God told me I'm a savior. And everybody else is kind of like, okay. But Marlene and her brother, Ned Swan, so I guess that's Brother Swan.
Brother Swan.
They are like,
his real name is Ned. Interesting.
oh, Marlene is like, I have been waiting my whole life to like find somebody like you. So she basically is like, oh my God, like, thank God a savior finally crossed my path. So she is kind of like the first true believer. So they like hook up with him in that sense, and then things spiral from there.
Literally, because I've never seen a brother and sister duo so in love with the same man. My God.
Oh, he says he fucks Marlene. He talks about
Wait,
sex
but
a lot.
does he fuck Ned? Because Ned wants it bad.
I know Ned wants it bad, but he put him in the
so
bad
bad.
zone. He goes,
Oh my
thanks,
God.
buddy.
When he buddies him, that hurt me. That hurt my heart. I was like, wow, he's so thirsty and he's being crushed. He's like,
Brother Swan, I know you would do
like,
literally anything to suck my dick. That's so sweet, buddy. Can you go get Sister Lucy right now? Because my dick does need to be sucked, but not by you.
But not by you, buddy. Fucked up. Also, okay, Chelsea, do you recognize Ned? Denehy. Oh my God. Dennehy. That's the actor that plays Brother Swan. We watched Glitch together, right? That was you, right? No? Was that not you?
I don't.
You didn't
Let
watch
me look
that
up
show?
what Glitch
Who
is.
was it? Okay, Glitch was this show it's like an Australian, like sort of zombie show.
Yes. Yeah, I did tell you to watch that.
Yeah, okay. I was fucking obsessed with it, and then it got like really bad. It got like
I love people are returning from the grave style show.
Oh, it was so good. Yeah, because it wasn't like zombies. They like just came back to life like years later and like were perfectly fine. And like some people were from like fucking like 50 years ago, 100 years ago or whatever. So Ned
was he
here.
the like racist
He was
guy?
the racist, like way old-timey guy that woke up.
And then he had like a descendant who was Maori. Was it New Zealand or was it Australia?
Yeah.
And he was like, remember. I'm grumpy about this. And it's like, well, get over it. That's your descendant.
Yeah. So get over your life. Yeah, no, this is a really interesting show. You should watch the first 2 seasons and then pretend it doesn't exist. That's what I do. That's what I do. It's really, 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 really good for those first 2 seasons.
Keep going until it stops resonating.
Yeah. It's like Misfits, also the best show I've ever seen. And then
the worst show you've ever seen. Yeah.
Uh-huh. It's really too bad. But yeah, I love the whole cast of characters in this cult too. Like Brother Hanker. I think that's the guy with the fucking mullet. Maybe not. They don't have pictures, so there's nowhere to know. No way to know. And then stop. There in the credits, in the IMDb, there is a person whose name is Fuck Pig.
Ooh, cute.
Maybe that's one of the I saw somebody on Reddit called them Cenobikers, like Cenobites, but bikers.
Cenobikers.
The
What are
Hellraisers.
they're called? Like the brothers of something.
The Black Skulls, I think.
Yeah, the Black Skulls. I loved their backstory. They just like were drug dealers and then they did a batch that was so
They
wrong that they like opened the fucking what's it called? The lament configuration. Wow.
Did
I'm really
one
proud
of
of myself
the
for remembering that.
bikers have like a weird dick, or am
Yeah, he had
I?
a knife
Yes.
dick.
Yeah,
He had
okay.
a knife
I was
dick
like,
like in Seven. Yeah. He had a knife dick. Very interesting. Then the other guy was like covered in knives himself. And
One
then
of them
there
just
was
had an arm and knives.
it was like
mm.
a squiggly, like gooey guy. Couple of gooey guys. And then a lot of leather daddies. It was
A lot
great.
of just like vague outlines of guys too. Like you're not getting too much detail on some of them,
Yeah.
which worked to be like spooky and evocative.
Yeah, I loved it. And I loved the horn of Abraxas. Oh my
Oh, yeah.
god. So good. And then do they offer sorry, I watched this twice today, but there were times I was
It's such a
making
fever
coffee.
dream of a movie. It's also
Yeah.
hard to just keep track.
Yeah. Did they give the what are they the band the skulls the band
Black
of horses
Skulls.
is what I was just about to say. The black skull. Did they give the black skulls like some green goo or something as well as the cute pale boy with the curly blonde hair or no?
I don't
I
recall green goo, but that doesn't mean it
I
was
don't know. I read
absent.
this.
Who's to
I read
say?
something in an article, and it was like, and they give the green goo, which I'll get to in a moment, and then they never got to it in the article, and I was like, I don't remember green goo, and then I
Yeah.
was like, is it the green orb of evil? And so I'm just gonna say right now, ignore what I just said. Even if you want to, Sydney, delete it from the episode because I don't think it's a real thing. But yeah, I think I don't know what. How do you guys feel about this in general? Like, there's like question of how you interpret this movie, and I think for me, you know, Nicolas Cage becomes an unreliable narrator once he does the drugs himself, and who fucking knows if how the end of this movie ends is actually true or not. But like throughout, there's stuff that seems to be supernatural or could just be bad guys being bad folks. But did you feel like it was supernatural, or do you feel like they're just doing like a supernaturally large amount of drugs?
I think that reality doesn't matter and it's perception that is your own personal truth within the narrative.
I love
And
that.
these biker guys sure seem to come from the depths of hell and
Yeah,
you know, they are killable certainly, so they can die. But I do equate them more with the Cenobites than just a bunch of bikers who used to run drugs, who got a bad batch, and now they're out of their minds.
yeah. I think that you can do cosmic drugs that make you supernatural. I think that that could happen, and so that is what I believe that happened here. You ever do so much LSD that you commune with the devil and become a demon?
No, but I one time did do 8 times of acid one time and just completely black out.
I have yet to do
I
that one.
don't know, but that sounds like a lot.
That sounds like a lot.
I'm no expert, but that sounds like a lot.
That sounds like a large amount.
I don't.
Well,
It
I'm
was
glad
so
that you didn't
interesting,
become a
though.
demon.
We all three of us went to Scream Unseen last night and saw a movie. Which was Bring Her Back, by the way, and I am desperate
Oh,
to
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about it a little bit. And so,
I
but
know.
I keep like being like, stay on topic.
I know.
But Monica
I'm
was
thinking about it all the time.
yeah, Monica was thinking about it so much that she was like, I don't think I can watch Mandy tonight. When I go home, I'll do that tomorrow. But you had been talking about this movie so much, and you were so adamant that you didn't want to do it for our in-person episode because you wanted time to think about it, that I was like, I have to watch it tonight. I can't watch it like tomorrow in the morning when I'm like feeling rushed or trying to like sneak it in throughout the day. Like I have to like create this atmosphere for it tonight and just like really be vibey about it. And I was able to
I feel
rewatch some of it this morning, thank God, because otherwise it really was hard to. But there was so much overlap plot wise, narratively, thematically, with Bring Her Back, with Drive Angry from last week, with like a thousand other movies, including other Nick Cage movies. Willy's Wonderland felt very relevant in a lot of ways in terms of like summoning creatures or something paranormal is going on, and Nick Cage is just like silently kicking ass for a lot of the movie. And with the end especially was very like Midsommar, Wicker Man.
Totally agree.
The House of the Devil felt very relevant here. Obviously,
Yeah.
Hellraiser, Society when his eye gets popped out. I also have My Animal for like the coloring and the vibes and like the long drawn out. It's about the music. It's not so much about like plot. Love Lies Bleeding kind of for the same reason. Bones and All for the sort of like atmospheric, like natureness of it all. I Spit on Your Grave, obviously, revenge arc.
I
But
love that movie.
I
Suspiria.
still haven't seen that.
It's real fucked up, but everybody should
scared.
watch it.
Yeah.
I know the daughter of the director of that movie.
I think you mentioned that.
Yeah. So
The original one or the remake?
The original.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen the remake. I've only seen the original.
I really want to see it, but I'm like scared to be traumatized. And after Bring Her Back, I need a break from seeing things that are horrifying.
From being traumatized.
Right.
I'm glad you set the tone for yourself, though. Like, did you feel like it was helpful to do that? Because I watched it this morning, and I wish that I had watched it like in a better setting, just because I love like really like soaking in. Is that a thing? I'm saying it. Soaking
I mean,
into a
soaking
movie like
is
this.
a thing.
Yes, I was soaking while watching it. No, but like I love watching this movie with like undivided attention so you can like feel your brain wiggle wobble with all the music, all the visuals, all of the intensity, cuz like it is more of an experiential movie than it is like a plot driven movie. Obviously there's a plot, it's very linear. You can figure it out whatever. But like it's about the way that it makes you feel, at least for me. And so I don't know. I wish I could see it again on the big screen because it was so fucking amazing to just be enveloped by it. That's what I'm looking for. I want to be enveloped by this movie.
I watched this movie 3 times.
That's good.
I watched it last night after Bring Her Back. I watched it because I watched it last night and I was just like, what the fuck is what is going on? And I was like, okay, I'll watch it again. And then I watched it this morning and I was just like, what? And then I watched it again right before this and I was just like, this movie was so overwhelming visually a little bit. And I do have I have a really nasty cold, so I've been sick for a couple days. And you know how like you were sitting there and you're like, I want to be like sucked in and enveloped and all this kind of stuff. This movie to me was like physically pushing me back and was like,
there
don't
wasn't
look
any
at
room
me.
because your sinuses are filled
I'm
with
taking up
gunk.
all this space.
But it literally like I would watch it and I was like, I can't look at this anymore. And I would like have to physically turn away. And then I'd
do a
look
little
back
break.
and so many things happened and I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, I think this is I had thought about it in advance. I was like, do I want to watch it several days in advance and have some time to sit and think maybe? And I did want to, but you know me, I always save my homework until the last minute. So I it's one of those movies that I think I will continue to have a different experience with each time that I watch it. And I could see if they did it like at Cinespia on the big screen
my
and you're in a
God.
crowd and you're laying down in the cemetery, maybe there's a
Yeah.
fine misty rain coming down. They blast the speakers. Like you take a gummy, a movie watching supplement. Like I could see that being like a very different, immersive, not sensual in like a sexy way, but like in a sensory way.
Sensory way, yeah.
Just way of watching the movie and just kind of like floating along with it. I think if I had watched it only this morning, I was like tired last night, so that was a little bit of a struggle as I kept being like, how much longer is it? Because it is a long 2 hours because there's
Yeah.
so much not empty space within the movie, but like space for an
Atmosphere.
emotion to breathe or for atmosphere. Yeah, for the music to fill the space and to create some emotion in you. And it's very well
It's
done.
not a chuggable movie.
But it's not a chuggable movie. No, you can't just like gobble it up really quickly and then move on with your day.
Maybe just the cheddar goblin part, but
maybe just the cheddar goblin part.
I love
which
cheddar
is
goblin.
one of my other touch points is I saw the TV glow because that felt like a commercial that would be in that movie.
that totally does. Apparently, it was inspired by the Ghoulies. Remember when we blacked out on the Ghoulies episode with
did black out
Movies
on the
of Horror?
Ghoulies.
I didn't black out. I've never blacked out.
I blacked out.
I was so drunk.
Don't listen to it. I don't know what I said. No, you should
Listen
to
at
it.
your own risk on that one.
Yeah,
but no,
Rochelle
it was
said
like
it was fine.
I think they had fun and we had fun and that's what matters. And
did
it was
have
for
fun.
St. Patrick's Day, so that was the intended vibe. And it's Ghoulies, so that movie is not that serious. But yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting movie. It was hard not to like let all these other things bleed into it a little bit because it is so open spacey.
But I think that's part of the intent because it has so many obvious influences.
Yeah.
That it's pulling
Hellraiser's
directly
alone
from.
is like so
Oh,
clear.
yeah.
It's
So I
also
think
giving
it's supposed to
a
be,
little
yeah.
Silence of the Lambs with when he's like standing there, dick out, like arms.
Yes, I totally agree. Would you fuck me?
Me-
I'd fuck me.
Yeah, like
yes.
it's very much that.
Goodbye horses. Yeah, he looks just like that guy too. With the way they did his hair and everything and just his face.
Also with the colors and stuff like that, I got a lot like Suspiria, like Giallo vibes.
For sure.
Totally. I think that one of the parts that would be insane to watch with the gummy is when they are all on drugs. They've kidnapped Mandy. She's gotten both acid, LSD put in her eyeball, and she got stung by the hornet of death.
Giant.
Oh my god, that was so fucked up.
Is
Drug
that
hornet
a tarantula wasp or something like that? Like,
oh, that's a thing, right? That's a drug thing,
like,
right?
that's
Yeah,
like
I bet that's it.
Like those things
forgot
are
about that.
gigantic.
It does look like it could be that. Tarantula hawk.
Yeah.
Tarantula
What
hawk.
it's called.
Ugh.
It's a spider wasp that preys on tarantulas.
Oh
I
my
bet
god,
it does
don't
have
look
like
it up.
paralyzing properties. It definitely felt like
Well-
they gave her the drugs to make her susceptible and then they stung her with the wasp to have physical control over her body.
Oh, it's excruciatingly painful, apparently. It's like the most excruciating sting in the world besides the bullet ant.
Wasn't it like soaked in something too?
Drugs.
That's what I'm saying. Like, did they soak this like wasp, tarantula hawk, not a bird, in more drugs?
I think so. That's the only way they could tame it, by keeping it high as fuck at all times. Yeah, the part right after that though, when Jeremiah is like down on her level telling her his life story, the dumbest story of all time.
When I was in the pit.
And his face keeps transforming into her face. Oh my god, that was such
when
a
his
trip.
mouth is not moving as he talks.
that like sucked me in. Like I was watching it on my iPad and I was like this close. I was like face to face with the face on my screen. Like, oh, it's hypnotic. It's really hypnotic. But I couldn't have been prouder of her for doing that hysterical laugh. That was
Yes, that's the only way to handle a situation like this.
she's like, this is
You
you? This is your song?
You're like, you're like, I know I'm gonna die. Might as well belittle this man.
Oh my
if
god.
this man is here to try and make me a sexual slave in his cult of horrible hippie music, the least I'm gonna do is laugh at him while he's got his dick out.
Right?
Exactly. She's a straight
And that's
shooter.
the
She
worst
tells
thing
it
you
how
can
it
do to a
is.
man, I think. I mean, laughing
That
at his music, yes, but also while he has his dick
dick
out.
out, and she's like, is this your song? Like, did you make this? And he's like,
It's about
yes.
you.
Right.
As he's massaging his nipples, he's literally like rubbing his own nipples. He's like, yes, I did. And she's like, oh my god, dick out, massaging his own nipples, thinking that he's so good, and then she rips him down. And
I
he's
love that he got
literally
his
like,
dick
don't
out
look at
too.
me. Don't look at me.
I love that he got his dick out. Because apparently that actor was like very hesitant to do nudity at first. And in the original script, he was supposed to be dorking it, which he does a
Mm.
little bit once his dick
He
is,
does.
out of frame. But
He
the
does
scene was
dork
supposed
it.
to be him jorking it. And he was like,
He
I
was like
don't know.
jacking off
I
to her
wouldn't
laughter.
he gave it like a little shake, but before that, before she starts laughing, I think he was supposed to be like, getting it hot and ready or whatever.
Okay.
And the actor was just like not sure. He was feeling a little shy about it. But then
Linus
as it like,
Roach.
yeah, it said he had reservations about appearing fully nude. Panos Cosmatos was like, that's fine. We don't have to shoot it that way. We can shoot it a different way. It's no big deal. But then as they got closer to filming the scene, Roach had thought about it a great deal and decided that it was right for the character to expose himself like that. And I totally agree. I think
I
like
agree.
him presenting his dick and being like, suck it without even having to say it that's so the character. His whole thing is like, God told me I can take whatever I want, and that includes women off the side of the road, and that includes whatever my pleasure is, and everyone exists to serve me, and I don't even have to ask. I just have to get you high and paralyzed and then present my dick, and surely what I want to happen will follow. And it's like,
Ugh,
things don't always go your way, little bitch. Guess what?
no.
Sometimes a woman can just, I don't, it like, okay, there's that quote that's like, a man's worst fear is that a woman will laugh at him. A woman's worst fear is that she'll be raped and
Murdered.
killed. Yeah,
That he'll
which
murder her.
is, to some degree, kind of a thesis for this movie.
Yeah.
But it really does feel like the absolute worst possible thing that she could do, because not only is it like it's not working on me, but it's like now I'm undercutting your authority in front of everybody
Your
else
entire
here.
crew. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Dude, that was so funny. Apparently that's a Blue Velvet reference, but I fell asleep during that movie, so couldn't tell you for sure. No, I have a source actually. It is for sure. um man, I mean, one thing I am happy about is that we didn't have to literally see her burn her actual body and they put her
Yeah.
in the sleeping bag. Cuz that would have been just extra terrible. But I did find the shots of like Nicolas Cage's face as he's like screaming with the barbed
Is it
wire in his
illuminated
mouth
with the
from her
flames?
the flame, the barbed wire around his wrists, on in his mouth. It's just horrific. And then later on, when he finally like gets out of his bindings and they've left, it's just her skull left, and it blows away in the dust. Like, oh, I thought that was beautifully done. Like you could see like almost her eyelashes, and then it just breaks apart. Like, ugh, and like the thing I was thinking about the whole time while I was watching this movie is like Nicolas Cage has been waiting to find a movie to like match his energy. And like I feel like this is like the perfect match because he's doing the same things that he does in other films that seem outlandish, but they seem, at least to me, like totally right in this setting. Like
Like the
his
bathroom scene.
the extremity of the bathroom scene, that is exactly it. Of course, like I love everything that happens right after she dies and he's left alone. He comes in, he sees the
Cheddar
fucking
Goblin.
cheddar goblin vomiting up mac and cheese, which made me hungry. Weird. I don't know.
I will
I don't
say,
Finds
know.
the shirt, his precious favorite 44 shirt.
I had a dream when I had a fever this weekend of people building like sand castles out of mac and cheese.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
So when
we
I
make a
saw this,
commercial?
I was like, oh,
That's beautiful.
Craft?
okay, I'm
I have a
interested
pitch
now.
for you.
That's
Cheddar
stunning.
Goblin. What
Hello,
if?
Uh,
Cheddar Goblin. Get him on the phone. Stop.
Call him up
get him on the
right
phone.
now.
But yeah, like just it's not the stages of grief. That sounds like annoying and trite, but like just his immediate reactions I thought were so interesting. Like he's like watching this mundane fucking stupid thing and he's like what the fuck, and then he just like passes out cuz he's completely lost. Then he wakes back up. I loved the emergency thing going off too on the TV being like this is just a test, but like for him it's not. Like it's his whole world ending. This siren alarm. And then he goes into the bathroom, which is the coolest bathroom I've ever seen in my life, and I want my whole house to look like that. But
Yes.
just that breakdown, like, yeah, it's fucking insane. Yeah, it's Nicolas Cage, but like, yeah, he just watched the love of his life burned alive in front of him, and he couldn't do
That
anything
blanket
to save her.
thrashing.
He didn't even have a single moment to even try to fight back because they knocked him out so quickly. And he must feel like, like he's failed her, because he couldn't step in, he couldn't save the day. And he's obviously like, since he's such a big burly lumberjack guy, he's like been her protector. She's a very small, beautiful, heavy metal wayfish woman. She's strong, but like he's supposed to be there to protect her and he couldn't do it when it mattered most. Like that anguish. Oh my god. I thought he did a great job. I was moved.
The way it goes from him drinking the vodka, pouring the vodka on his wounds, screaming because it fucking hurts to be cleaning your wounds like that, to just like screaming for catharsis, to wailing out of grief. Like the way it like moves through that path is really effective.
It is. He apparently had a screaming coach for
I
this
know.
movie. Yeah,
I
so
saw
I
that
thought
too.
effective. I mean, you don't want to fuck your shit up if you have to
Right.
scream
And
that
also,
much.
like, if you have to do multiple scenes and then you have to go film something else tomorrow, you don't want to be losing your voice.
Yeah, totally. That can really thrash your voice. That's why Paul McCartney's voice got so fucked up because he was screaming a lot in Wings. Boy, need to calm down. Now I can't sing that well. Love him. Um, but yeah, he meets the moment in this, and I just think it's so interesting. Like that this movie is in a lot of ways like the exact same thing as Drive Angry. It's not, but like it is a
But in many
revenge
ways, it is. Yeah.
movie. Yeah, it is a revenge movie. But I love that he
And a cult.
did a role and a cult and like Satan aspects of it and him being an unkillable badass as well. But like I love seeing the difference that 7 years makes in the portrayal. Obviously, they're asking for different things, the two movies, but like I don't know, I think it was very cool to watch the two and to see how like a very similar story can play out completely differently and make you feel completely differently. Um yeah, I don't know. I fucking love this. And I am obsessed with the fact that Bill Duke is in this movie. He plays Carruthers. That's where he gets all of his weapons from, where Red Miller gets all of his weapons from. And Bill Duke is in fucking Predator. And if you haven't seen Predator, we need to do Predator on this podcast. My God, how have we not done Predator? But he is amazing in that, and he's been in a few other amazing things. He was in X-Men: The Last Stand, Commando, Exit Wounds. Like, that was really cool for them to have like a legacy like horror guy pop up in this. That was like the perfect little spot for
Tiny
him to
spot.
tell his little spooky story. But I love how like bleak the comedy could be in this movie too, because it does have hilarious aspects. Like in this scene with Carruthers, he was like, "Look, I'm gonna tell it to you straight. Like these guys are fucking psychos, and the odds aren't in your favor." I'm quoting Hunger Games now, and Red's like, can you stop being so negative or something like that?
Yeah.
So funny. So good. Um,
One thing that I thought was interesting too, is during this scene with Jeremiah, I think he says something to her like, "Oh, what do you see?" And I think he, is kind of prompting her to be like, "I see a god before me," or whatever. But what she says is, "I see the Reaper fast approaching."
yes.
And then when Red goes to the trailer, we learn that the Reaper is not the Grim. I mean, in many ways, it is the Grim Reaper
The
fast
Grim
approaching,
Reaper.
but the Reaper is also his crossbow that he's had stored away with his
Yes.
friend.
Yes. Oh my
And
god.
so, like, she's
That was
laughing at
her
him, she's laughing at his
premonition.
music, she's laughing at his dick, but she's also like, I'm laughing at the idea that you think just because you have us at your mercy right now, that you will always have us at your mercy. He's coming for you. Like, whatever happens, like, even if he doesn't save the day right now, you're going down with him.
Yeah, I know. I think that again it leads back into what we were talking about earlier. Like, oh, was this fate? Was this always meant to happen? And like, I think she saw with her third eye being opened up by the LSD, honey. She could see what was happening, and she wasn't gonna make it, but that Red was going to avenge her with gusto. Um, which makes it all the more like tragic. I don't know. They don't really like dive so super deeply into this love story, but like the picture that you do get of them, perfect couple. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Cuddled up with your man in the cutest 70s house of all time watching oh, this I want to look up what the
Like
movie is.
Night Beast or something
Yes,
like that.
Night Beast. Night Beast, it's a 1982 cult sci-fi horror movie about bloodthirsty visitors from outer space. So, also
Sounds familiar.
thematic. Yeah. So, maybe I'll be watching that tonight. Um, but yeah, the journey of Red is just the rest of this movie is just fucking balls to the wall, man. It's just
Yeah.
fucking balls to the wall.
I liked Carruthers. I liked that he was able to, do some exposition lore dropping in this movie. I I don't know what more I would have wanted from him necessarily, but it did feel like he was kind of just there to fulfill the trope, and again, not my words, but the magical Negro trope of like, oh, this
Mm.
wise black man who knows exactly what's going on and can explain it, but he's not really part of the plot. So,
Ah, that's fair.
but I mean, I like the way he broke it down. I wish we like got a little more about like what their relationship is, that he leaves the Reaper with him. But that's not the scope of the movie. You know what I mean? So it makes sense that they didn't get into
Yeah.
it,
I
but
like that there's like no that it's just this mystery like that Red has this past where he is a hunter.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
He's
like, oh, if you're hunting, let me give you all this other stuff too.
this one melts bones or whatever, cuts through them
And
like
like
butter.
the jacks that he like put in the road to pop the tires, I certainly believe in my heart that those also came from Carruthers.
Carruthers got the stash. Also, something that I would like to note is that one, I felt very excited that he had an RV that was an arsenal of weapons because one time when I used to go RVing with my family and we got an arsenal of fucking squirt guns and I set them up very similarly, hidden in the secret compartments in an RV. And then I brought my cousins in, and I was like, check it out. And then I opened it up, and it was like, anyway, that's a important memory from my childhood. There you go.
Sure.
And the other thing is that Carruthers has the fucking goblin mac and cheese in his cupboard. And I loved that. I loved that little Easter egg. That was dumb and good. But yeah, I also love the gore in this. There's so much blood and it's squirting all the time, and it's a beautiful, robust, deep red. It's very stunning. And it's coming out like a geyser a lot of the time. And yeah, it's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of people being killed, porn on the TV.
Yeah, the porn just like playing
As
on the
it's
TV while he's
happening.
fighting one of the bikers.
Well, like the context is so interesting. It's not that interesting, but whatever. Like the bikers had like come in to the to this
Killed that
house,
couple.
killed that couple, and just immediately set up shop and started watching fucking porn in their living room with the guy with the
As one
fucking
does.
knife dick. Knife dick. I don't always need to see a knife dick. I mean, it is the most terrifying
I'm
thing I
glad
can
to see
imagine.
Knife Dick.
Yeah, but I don't like to think about it too much because I get really freaked out. But yeah, he's like really good at killing people. And I'm really glad that I didn't see them shoot the nail gun into his hand
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
can't handle
I
things
didn't want to
like
see
that.
that.
But that was interesting because I mean obviously it's just like great gore and a great way to keep him in place. But given that Jeremiah talked earlier when they were about to burn Mandy, he said something about like the crucifixion and how Jesus didn't do a sacrifice or something like that. Like, oh, that was his mistake. And so like for just a partial crucifixion for Nick Cage's character Red, but for that nail to be through the hand felt very much like, oh, this guy thinks he's Jesus. Well, isn't that hilarious? Because actually, this guy over here is the one true whatever. I don't know. But I also loved that he smithed his own weapon. I do feel
Yes.
that this
Oh my God, I
is
forgot
a
about
Renaissance
that.
fair loving couple, and I do believe that he got that skill set, and that's also why he shoots crossbow, because those were his medieval weapons when they were on the Ren Fair circuit, and they retired a while ago to the Pacific Northwest to put down some roots, but
There was a huge Renaissance fair resurgence in the 70s, and it is only 1983, so that was just rather recently. Apparently, that scythe is like a direct reference to maybe
oh, I saw
actually heavy metal again. Maybe not. How do you spell scythe again? Fuck, scythe is so hard to spell.
SCYTHE.
The Reaper-like scythe that Fred wields later on is derived from the scythe embedded within the Celtic Frost logo. What's that? I don't know. I love Celtic things though. So I'll be Googling it as
Oh,
you
it's a
guys
metal
discuss
band.
something else.
It's a metal band.
Oh! Oh my God, they look incredible. Wow, Google them when you have a chance. Look at their outfits. Holy shit, they look incredible. People were doing better things in the 80s. People were really freaking it on the daily.
They were freaking out. But there's also a lot of horrible shit going on, like the Satanic Panic just seems like not fun to live through.
No, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just talking solely aesthetically.
I'm only
Especially
talking
for
about the
us,
fun parts.
who would be absolutely what is it? Caught up in the Satanic Panic.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
100%. It would have been rough. It
The
would have been rough.
confluence of Spooky Tuesday and Satanic Panic just
The rivers, they do be
the
flowing
rivers,
together.
as you
They're-
know.
The rivers. Okay, what's your favorite part of the rampage?
I don't know. That's the main part of the movie that I didn't like fully rewatch. So I was like, I get it. He goes on rampage. Let me watch the other parts to be like, what was the
Yeah,
deal?
no, I agree. That part was just fun. That part was just like,
yeah.
yeah, yeehaw, let's go. Get him.
I like
I
when he
do
cuts that
like-
guy's head off.
Yeah. Oh, when he like throws
Yes.
Marlena's head in too. That's
Uh-huh.
good.
I love Ned's death. Brother Swan.
Mm-hmm.
Better
Bella
to
Swan,
burn.
Brother Swan. I'm just
Whoa.
saying. I'm just saying.
Better to
Charlie
burn out
Swan.
than to fade out. I mean, he died. I thought that was very funny. It's like, don't say trite shit to me. You killed my beautiful girl. And the geyser of blood that came out of his mouth was beautiful. Interesting that he
Oh, the
left,
tiger.
Sister
Yeah,
Lucy
why
alive.
was the
Oh, yeah.
tiger
The
there?
tiger when he goes to confront the chemist.
I loved the chemist. I thought that was so interesting. I love that at that point. Oh, we didn't talk about the most important thing. So sorry. Best part ever is when Red eats the crazy demon LSD and they had that prosthetic of his face melting off.
Oh yeah.
The like claymation of his face melting off. That was fucking sick. That was so sick. I was so happy to see that. But yeah, from this moment on, anything that happens maybe didn't happen, in my opinion. Like, obviously, it's a movie, but like, who fucking knows? Um, but yeah, I love that part where he's just like talking to the chemist through their special LSD shared hive mind brain. And apparently, Lizzie the tiger in the script was supposed to be a lizard. And then the guy who plays the chemist, Richard Brake, showed up on the day to do the shoot. And Panos is just like, oh, hey, by the way, Lizzie's a tiger now.
I saw that on IMDb as well, and I was
It's
like,
because
imagine.
of Nicolas Cage's shirt, obviously.
They
They're
said,
like, oh,
I'm
we have to
feeling
match his
really
shirt.
inspired.
He looked so good in that shirt, so we should bring that. I saw some
What
stuff
if
on
he's
Reddit
the
that was like,
tiger?
what was the symbolism of the tiger? I didn't read it, so
He
I
had
I
a
don't
saw
know.
cool shirt.
something on IMDb trivia that was like
Eye of the tiger.
coincidentally orange and black are also the colors of Princeton, and their mascot is the Tigers. And I was like, that's why their colors are orange. Stupid.
That made me mad.
Yeah. Someone really felt the need to be like, I have something to add here. And
Just
it's like,
by the way,
okay.
I went to Princeton.
If you need to be involved, that's your thing. You don't really need to make it our thing, but all right.
Nah, poor guy.
Let me find it actually because I want to see how many downvotes. Yeah, it has 12 upvotes and 75 downvotes.
Good.
Everybody's like, shut up.
The people from
But it was-
Princeton, stop upvoting this.
It's like,
There's
what came
another
first, the
one.
Princeton mascot colors or the tiger?
I think it's probably Princeton. I think
I
tigers
think it was
were
Princeton.
invented because everybody loved Princeton so much.
Yeah.
But there was another IMDb trivia entry at one point near the end under the spoilers section that said, Red is in love with Mandy, then seeks to avenge her death and is enraged doing so. The color red represents both love and anger throughout most cultures. And it had 32 thumbs up and 50 thumbs down, where people were just like, shut up. You don't need to say something if you don't have something to say.
That is my mind blowing. That is what that sound was. Holy
Red
shit.
for
I've
love,
never thought
but
about
also
red.
anger.
And I'm wearing a red
Crazy.
shirt right now.
Somebody should make a movie about that.
You know what? That person probably thought they were having an epiphany. Okay. Maybe it's their
Maybe
first
they
time
had also
doing
just
film
taken
analysis.
some LSD and they were like, oh my God.
They were like, what does the color red symbolize? It's so interesting that his name is Red. Let me look that up. And he's like, whoa,
Whoa.
that's crazy.
Whoa.
You know, some people, it's their first day getting into color theory. Okay, Chelsea. Man. I love when he kills all the fucking Cenobites or whatever, biker bites. Ceno bikers. But like whatever. I like it better when he's killing the cult people.
I like when he's nailed down in that trailer or whatever, and one of them is going like whispering in its weird language at him, and he goes, I don't want to talk about that. I like that part.
And like he's got like 5 lines for the whole movie, and like 4 of them are, this is my favorite shirt. You ripped my favorite shirt.
Well, but it's very sweet actually, because
It
that's
is
the
really
shirt we see him
sweet.
in the beginning, and then that's the shirt that she's wearing to sleep when they get attacked, and then he's wearing that. He finds it after he comes back in, and he wears it for the rest of the film, or at least part of the rest of the film. And
Well,
then
that's
it's
the
also
shirt
the
he was
shirt,
wearing the night they met.
yeah, in the flashback at the
Flashback
end.
at the end. Yeah. Well, that's why
That's
it's
why
his
it's his
favorite shirt.
favorite.
um, but yeah, as he begins to okay, sorry, wait. Back to the tiger really quickly. I love that like they have this brain conversation that only the chemist can hear. And the chemist is like, "Oh my god, you're right. It is wrong for me to test drugs on this tiger. I should let it free." I just it's just
Like,
so
why?
ridiculous. I why? Because it's funny, and I love Panos for that. I loved it. I thought it was great. He's out here making the chemist a better man. Um, so funny. But yeah, I the end of this is just so fucking fun. Like, just it meets the insanity that you are looking for from a movie that's already been this insane. Like, I love the scythe in Brother Swan's mouth. I love that he throws the scythe and just fucking murks Mullet because that guy, he makes the dumbest faces ever. But great job. Great job at making a face that makes you want to punch him at
When they
every given moment.
sacrificed that other guy who they kept making fun of his weight,
Yes, that
that
was
first
the
of
best
all,
face I've ever
rude.
seen. Yeah,
But second
this
of
is the
all,
fat phobic shit going on.
I know I was so disappointed that mullet guy didn't get sacrificed as well. I was like, get rid of this guy too. Like, what do you need him for? Just like get him out of here.
He's so annoying. But
Yeah, I did not like him.
I have something to say about them for segments, though.
that shot of the curly cutie
Mm-hmm.
getting pulled away, where he's like at the window and he's like, oh, I I just love that. I just thought it was so
Blood
good.
for blood.
Blood for blood. Um, it's important to have one expendable bitch in your cult, though, so you can make a blood sacrifice at any time. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
first rule of a cult. Sydney, write this down.
Okay.
They save all of the boyfriends to ensure that the girlfriends suck dick, and also because what if we gotta sacrifice somebody to the son of bikers?
Okay, gotta go down for little suck sacrifice. do, 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 do.
Also, the chainsaw fight.
When one is like
Fucking
really
God
long,
tier.
I'm
Yes.
sure there are long chainsaw fights or not chainsaw fights, but long chainsaws because some trees are very big. But it looked so crazy silly.
But yeah, but Nicolas Cage had the shorter one. How could he possibly win? Well, that man doesn't know that Red Miller is a lumberjack.
Listen,
this is his perfect weapon.
everybody knows it's not about the size of your equipment, it's how you use it.
Exactly. And he
Something
was
Jeremiah
swinging
and
that
his crew
thing.
could stand to learn.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And that's how he was gonna die for sure. There's no
They
question.
filmed that in one night, apparently, which IMDb says Panos
That's
Cosmatos
crazy.
described as, quote, a straight up living hell to shoot. So
There's a lot of shots in that, so that's crazy. That must have been literally the entire night. Um, I also just like again this actress Alwyn. I'm so sorry, Olwen. I am saying owl because I want to say owl, and she reminds me of an owl because she is spooky and wise. And I can't say her last name because it's French. For Anyway, I love her last scene. I love her last scene so much because it's so fucking funny. She's like, I'll fuck you, and I'm really good at it because I'm an empath.
I meet my lovers every move.
I died. She's like, yeah, I'm actually like really in touch with my lover's emotions. So like forget that I just burned your girl alive and smiled the whole time. Like she's really, really desperate to not die, and that's
It
fair.
also really emphasizes the use of sex as currency in the Children of the New Dawn. That, like, the first thing that she can think of is, like, I'll fuck you and I'm really good at it. And then obviously Jeremiah later is like, I'll suck your dick. Like, he also goes straight to, like, oh, clearly this is what anyone in power would want. This is the thing that can save you, is if you'll suck dick.
Dude, dark.
Sucking
That
dick will save you. Actually, everybody knows this. This is so common. Everybody
so fucking
knows.
funny. I love Jeremiah's like breakdown. I love his like posturing. And he does the same thing like earlier on in the movie where he's just been like ripped down by Mandy and he's totally mortified in front of his entire flock. And he goes to the mirror and he's like, "What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?" And then he's like, "Actually, I fucking rock."
Never doubt yourself.
Never
I know
doubt yourself.
exactly what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, no, it's like he has imposter syndrome, but then he's also a huge fucking narcissist,
He's
and
a total
that's narcissism
megalomaniac.
for you. Yeah, that's how it works actually. Narcissists can actually be incredibly insecure. You wouldn't think that.
What?
What?
You wouldn't think that, but they are. But yeah, I just thought the acting in this finale is really good. His desperation is so awesome, and there is no better way for him to die than for Nicolas Cage to squish his head to death. And his fucking cool voice, Red Miller's cool, spooky god voice. Whoa, that was cool too. Very cool. Um, but yeah, the end of this movie like makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
I think even though it's like the memeable shot that everybody used to be like, haha, crazy Nick Cage, blah blah blah, when he's doing that smile and he's got all the blood
Covered in
all over
blood.
him. Oh, wait. Someone else start talking.
Yeah, bring it back out. And the end is just like beautiful in general, with like the cosmos again in the background. The color of the cosmos throughout the movie is so beautiful. There's like a shot in the beginning when they're just in bed, like lying together, and it's like the colors like changing and like playing across their faces. Like, there's a lot about this movie that's just like very visually stunning.
Mm-hmm.
Did I vamp for long enough?
No, you gotta keep going.
Oh,
Vamp, vamp, vamp.
the cartoons the cartoons were so interesting. I don't remember if the first one is like after she's killed and he passes out and he sees her like decaying, um but he only gets that one for like a second, and then later he gets one after he's killed some of the Cenobikers, and it's like she's naked in the waters, like she's emerging from the waters, but her eyes are red. She requires vengeance. And then it's like she's soothing her purple tiger later, which is obviously Nick Cage. She's soothing him. He's wounded, but she can reach inside him and get the glowing green orb gem. And now she's satisfied. Her eyes turn green. She's at peace. Like, he's done it.
Yeah, and I think it was brilliant for him to be driving away and they're in this like otherworldly place. Like that is exactly as described in the book, like we said earlier. In the book
The
she was reading.
primordial crimson sky
The jagged rocks over the
of the
two
ancient
suns
volcanic
or
mountain,
whatever.
the blood red suns.
Yeah. And he just reverts. He's that's the thing with these revenge movies. Like, I don't know. I
There's no
haven't
happy
watched a ton
ending.
of them. There's no happy ending. At the end of the day, that person is still dead. You've gotten your revenge, but like, now what are you going to do? Like, you're still gonna be without that person that you are avenging.
Even in a rape revenge movie where it's like you live to tell the tale and also you slaughter everyone who hurt you, it's still like you're irreparably changed by the trauma you are endured, and also now the violence that you've been put in a position to
Yeah,
commit.
totally. And like, I don't know, not every one of the movies must touch on the aftermath. Usually it'll end in a euphoric space with the person covered in blood and then
There's
them
some
being like walking
satisfaction,
away.
but
But this takes you that one extra step where he's really thinking about the loss, like that the love of his life is gone. And he goes back to that first moment that they ever met, that instant connection that they had, which is just so sweet. They say nothing, but they just see into each other's souls. And then he, like, I don't know, mind broken brings her into the present almost. It's like now she's sitting by his side and he's thrilled and he looks like this. Um but we know that she's not actually there. But he sees her. He sees her. He has this fucking insane smile on his face, you know. Um and yeah, it's ambiguous. Like what's happening? Is he just reminiscing? Is he having a break from reality? Like obviously she's not actually there, but like what does he do now? And we don't get to find out. Um and that's good because apparently Panos had an idea for a sequel that he's never going to do where Red
oh,
Miller
great.
just goes and kills a bunch of zombies or not zombies. I'm so sorry. Nazis. Got confused.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah, kills a bunch of neo Nazis. He's like, that'd be fun, but like, I don't really do sequels, so yeah. And I was like, yeah, don't fucking do that. Leave this how it is. Please leave it perfect and nice. I don't need that. Even though it would be fun to see him kill a Nazi, I'm never against that. Yeah, but I don't know. I thought it was a really perfect ending.
did you stick around for the little shot at the end of the credits?
I did, and what? I don't know. I think what did you make of that? There's just a shot of the table and her art and the birds chirping
Yeah.
and him.
Yeah, and a lot of the art, it's like him with a tiger is one of them. So that is of some interest for sure. But the rest of it is just like general sort of like fantasy stuff. But I thought it was
Plus
just
her
kind of, and
premonition.
he's wearing the 44 shirt in the
Oh
drawing.
yeah,
His beloved
Um,
shirt.
but I
more
don't
that
know.
it's
I don't
faded.
it felt again just sort of like a reflection on like the beauty of the life that they shared together, even if it didn't last as long as they might have wanted it to, even if it couldn't go forever, it still is like the beauty that they created and shared and lived in, and sort of like an homage to her character, that like evidence of her in
Yeah,
their life remains even after her death. And I don't know. I just
yeah,
thought it was sort of like it wasn't like an epilogue by any means, but it was just like a nice little
a
touch at
nice
the
little
end.
set piece. Yeah, I thought it was really nice, and I thought it was very sweet that they dedicated the film to Johan Johansson.
Great name.
'Cause he really left his mark with this movie. I mean, he's done a ton of other things, but I thought that this was really stunning, and really interesting end piece for his career. So may he rest in peace. But yeah, now we're gonna be silly immediately after being earnest. So, what time is it, Sydney?
It's our segmento time.
Woohoo! Okay, so how could this movie be gayer? And as I was watching it, I was like, "This is a Spooky Tuesday movie." I'm sorry. There is so much gay subtext in this movie. It's crazy.
I mean, Jeremiah and Brother Swan is wild. The way Jeremiah has his like hands on his face, the like tender casual intimacy, the way he's like, I can always count on you. But then he hits him with the buddy.
Yeah,
Really just like seduces him and like uses that sway to get him, you know what you have to do, right? Like to make him do these unspeakable things, and then he still just goes, okay, buddy, like off you go, thanks. So Jeremiah is I don't know,
he's
it's
a
so
cock
interesting.
tease.
Yeah, because when I watched this scene the first time, it was like, obviously I got the sense of him as a cult leader who uses sex like all cult leaders basically. Um and Marlene is in there first, and even though you get the sense that she's been like passed over at this point, you understand like what she is looking to do for him and what role she probably played in the past. But then she leaves and Brother Swan comes in, and it's like, oh, like he really wasn't into Marlene because he's so into
So,
Brother
yeah.
Swan. But then he dismisses Brother Swan for Sister Lucy. And it's so interesting. It made me really kind of like curious and think about it. Like, is he that into women, or is he into having power over women? Is it that he knows that young women, young beautiful women are held up as like the peak of desirability, and so if he can have that, that makes him desirable or powerful
Yeah.
in some way? Like, how much of it is actually his attraction versus his wanting complete obedience? Because obviously with Lucy there's that moment too where before they burn, or after they burn Mandy, maybe somewhere in that scene when they go up to Nic Cage, where he's like, "Oh, you guys think you're so fucking in love? Like, let me show you what love really looks like." She'd kill herself if I told her to. She's willing to risk it right now just to make a point to you.
That shit was wild.
That shit was wild. And so it's like, does, obviously to him, Lucy and all of the other women are completely replaceable. And there is like some emotion attached there, because when Mandy rejects him, he does that classic male thing of being like, "You're an ugly whore anyway. I didn't want you anyway, ugly whore." But I don't know. It feels like there's something to there. I mean, in his song, the song says something, one of the lyrics is like, "Every man must find a wife."
Yeah.
And the My Journey track does kind of position it in a sort of like Christian narrative. He has the comparison to Jesus, so it does kind of feel like maybe he's imprisoned within heteronormativity, and he just does not know that there's more
Doesn't
to
have
the
the
world than
words for
that.
it.
He's like, I see that Brother Swan wants me and I can use that, but he wouldn't allow himself to explore the possibility that he might want Brother Swan too. But I don't know, he's definitely like segregated the gender roles within his cult.
It's so interesting. Yeah.
I
I
have
wonder what
no
happens with those
proof.
other fellas.
No. I have no proof, but the bikers are all gay.
That's because they're Hellraisers, so I
Yeah.
100% agree.
Like every single one of them, gay.
They fucking.
They're inspired by the Cenobites, who are inspired by the leather scene in queer culture. So yeah, they're all gay.
But also, they have a choir that they like to sing. Don't ask me why. I
And
just
only gay people
Cenobikers.
do that.
well, the gay men's choir.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Gay Men's Choir.
the
The Gay
gay
Men's
men's
Choir is the
choir, of
best choir.
course.
It's the best choir there is.
I had mentioned this a little bit, but what do they call him? The porky guy or whatever. Him and the mullet guy, when they're first being like, "Oh, like sacrifice porky guy too if you need to." It's like they look over to him and mullet guy's like playing with his hair. So I think they were having some sort of romance as well. Gay.
Gay. The whole cult's gay. Except for maybe Mother Marlene.
Mandy bisexual.
Mandy and Red both
Mandy
bisexual. These
and
are
Red
bitches
both
who go to the
bisexual.
Renaissance fair and they're flirting with everybody.
100%. And I love that
You
for
don't
them.
learn how to smith your own scythe and not be a little bisexual. Am I right, guys?
So
You
true.
can say that again. Oh, every character is gay, including Crothers.
Mm-hmm.
He's pan.
Why do you think they trusted him to hold on to their weapons? It's because they had had a couple dalliances in the past as a threesome.
Oh, yeah. No, they definitely had a sexual history. The Reaper? Okay. Enough said.
I'm going to let you hold my sexually charged phallic weapon that penetrates people. Keep it safe for me. All right.
Anything for
Yeah.
you.
Come on. Come on. Okay, any other gay thoughts you'd like to share?
So many more gay thoughts.
That leads us to I didn't even give you a chance, sorry.
I looked away.
That leads us to Matthew Lillard. Where would Matthew Lillard fit into this movie?
Okay.
Uh
Young Matthew Lillard could be long haired weird guy.
Mm. For sure, for sure, for sure.
Weird
I think
guy. Who
obviously,
is
of
that?
course,
He's the like blonde cult
the mullet
member.
guy.
The mullet guy. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
who has
okay,
like
okay.
the long hair and always
Well,
makes
there's
like
also
the weird
that other
face.
guy who does the fucking chainsaw fight. So there's two guys. There's those two guys. I could see him as that. I could see him naturally as a cult leader because
Yeah,
I'd
of
follow him
course.
anywhere into the dark. He would slay in that so much. He can't be red. Sorry, that stays Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
He
Well,
was
it's
just so
Nic
good
May-ge,
in this.
so yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
He
I
could
know.
be
possibly.
one of the biker guys just under a mask.
I think he was there. I think he was playing one of those
You
biker
just
guys.
see his name in the
100%.
credits.
Mm-hmm.
He does
Well,
that
I
scene.
think he didn't want to draw attention. He was like, Nick Cage, I'll let you have your moment.
He said, "I just want to be in a movie with Nick Cage. Put me in
I'm
coat."
here to have fun with my friends. I'm not here to steal the spotlight.
Or just like in Scream 2, he's in the background of the bar on the night that they met. The night that Mandy and
Oh,
Red met. He's just
sure.
meandering around. You catch his side profile and you're like, was that? No, couldn't be.
When
What?
when I was just like scrolling through the pictures on IMDb for this movie, and I remembered an interesting piece of trivia that I just will choose to share
I love to hear it.
about their eyes. Because I didn't really
Oh,
notice it
yeah.
with the cult leader guy, but I noticed it with Mandy that she has that one big eye. And the first time I watched it, I was like, "Oh my god, she's about to have a brain aneurysm or something." That's obviously what this means.
I thought she just had heterochromia.
No, she has like one eye that's like the iris is like way bigger than the other.
Oh.
It says through the use of either context or CGI, Mandy's right iris is darker and enlarged in several scenes, whereas Jeremiah's left eye has the same treatment in some scenes. Not only does this serve to make both of them look more ethereal and a bit off, it's relying on subconscious symbolism of the eyes as the window to the soul.
Oh.
The right side has long been associated with righteousness, the left side with more sinister forces.
Ooh.
And also it being like the right versus the left is like a mirror image when you're looking at each other. And that obviously made me think of that song that's like, the mirror, freckles in our eyes are blah, 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 blah. You know the song I'm talking about? And when we kiss, they're perfectly aligned. And
Such
and
great
she
heights
had
by the
it.
Postal Service.
Thank you.
Back
She
to
had
you.
it especially in the moment when he sees her on the side of the road. So it felt like that was part of his, like, she's special. She's my counterpart. I must have her.
Mhm.
We need to be special together. But I just thought it was like an interesting visual detail in
Yeah.
the movie and an interesting piece of trivia.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering about that because her eyes are all dark in the drug scene. So there's that. But they also all had like super dark eyes, and I thought it was just like their irises are huge because they're all high, and his
Their
eyes were like
pupils,
that
yeah.
because he is high. Oh yeah, sorry, their pupils, not the irises. Because he's on LSD all the time.
Lots
But that
of it.
is a little more interesting. So I like that. Okay, I like those placements for Matthew. I feel satisfied. Are we ready for dumb bitch?
Yeah.
It's Jeremiah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has to be.
Fuck that
If
guy.
he had just let Brother Swan suck his dick, I don't think we'd be in this position.
I know. Seriously. God. Also, like, you know, they always say, like, all these bad people, if they just got the record deal, if they hadn't kicked Hitler out of art school, whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
No one should hear Jeremiah Sands' music. No one should
Have you
hear that.
considered that some people shouldn't go to art school? Isn't it so great if you can hone your craft or whatever? But look,
There's nothing there. There's nothing there with Jeremiah. Jeremiah,
look.
wolf. Big wolf.
Yeah, really bad song. Listen to it all the way through on Bandcamp. I'll put it in the references. Not good.
Fucking hilarious. Also, like, Panos wrote that song like fucking years ago. When he's had those lyrics for that because he was writing this and
Black
something of
Rainbow.
the Black Rainbow, like 10 years before this came out, obviously, because Black Rainbow came out in 2010. So, like, this, he knew. He was like, Jeremiah, I got you pegged. Moment one. Okay, that leads us to our knives out of 5. So Chelsea, go for it, girl.
On IMDb, this movie got a 6.5 out of 10. However, on Rotten Tomatoes, while it got only 68% fresh from audiences, so pretty contemporary with IMDb, it had 90% fresh from critics. So critics liked it. And it really made the run of the festival circuit. I won't list everything because there's like a good chunk of stuff in there, but it won Best Independent Film at the 2019 Saturn Awards, probably because they liked that he said Saturn was his favorite planet.
Yeah, it was rigged.
Nic Cage won Best Actor at the 2019 Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. It
Yes.
won Best Score at the 2019 Chainsaw Awards, the 2019 Austin Film Critics Association, and the 2018 Seattle Film Critics Association. But just another one that I thought was interesting, had never heard of this before. The Alliance of Women Film Journalists hosts an awards show as well, and it has a lot of the categories that you might expect, like Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Picture, blah, blah, blah. However, another one of the categories is most egregious age difference between the leading man and the love interest. And this movie didn't win, but it was nominated because they have a 17-year age difference, which I don't think you really pick up on watching the film, but
I don't think so. I think they did a good job of making him look a lot younger.
I also think it's just like Hollywood blinders are on. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you put like a 40-year-old woman next to a 60-year-old man, and that they even out to be, they're both 50 in Hollywood years.
Right.
So fucking stupid.
But I just thought it was worth mentioning. If you're curious, that other categories at that awards show include actress most in need of a new agent, Hall of Shame, and sequel or remake that shouldn't have been made. So they're just like being
that's
serious,
so
but also
funny.
goofing off over there. Okay,
That's
ladies.
so funny.
They said we've got jokes.
This movie's really interesting because like when they released it, they knew they were going to lose money at the box office. It had a $6 million budget. And when they released at the box office, it made a million or 1.5 or something, which like is a flop by the books. But it was like incredibly demanded. Like it came out and it got so much buzz that people were demanding it in theaters. And they were planning on recouping all the money in like VOD, video on demand, like at home sales. But it did so well they had to like renegotiate their whole distribution and release it a lot more theaters because people just really resonated with it. Not everyone, but like I feel like this is a modern or could be a pretty prime example of a modern cult classic where it has that same feeling as some movies from the past, and funnily enough a lot of the movies that it was trying to emulate throughout. So I just thought that was cool. But anyway, who wants to go first?
I can go first. I'm
Sorry,
going to
good
give
yawn.
this a 3.5 out of 5 because I just did not watch it in a setting that it needed to be watched in. And I had to watch it 3 times to even get it, and I still don't fully get it. I don't remember half of it after watching 3 times. But again, that's probably me.
I think this is a hard movie to watch on demand and not like come to it when serendipity aligns. You know what I mean? I think when you're watching this movie because you have to, it's a very different atmosphere than when like the movie can breathe and you can breathe with it. And Sydney literally can't breathe at all right now. So I think that harms the experience.
Makes it a little bit
A little
difficult.
trickier. Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. Well, okay, I want to go last, so you have to go next, Chelsea.
No, that's fine. I was gonna go for a second, and then I was like, oh, maybe she wants to be in the middle.
No, I forgot that I wanted to go last, and so I started talking.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I was just saying, I think it really is a movie that doesn't want to be rushed or like put on a clock. So I think the best environment in which to watch it I haven't encountered yet. And I could see myself watching this again when again the circumstances feel right. I could see um there's definitely like maybe if you're like in a beanbag chair in a dark room kind of deal, you know what I mean? That sounds like it could be a good vibe. Watching it like spread out on my couch was not really not bad, especially with a movie going supplement. Just like chilling, having the space, being a little less tired, I think would have helped. Um, but I could see my trajectory with this movie continuing to change as I like sit with it and breathe with it. Um, for my first, I really liked the vibes. I liked how atmospheric it was. It was like a little hard to hold all of it in a first viewing. Um, Even if it is like relatively simple plot wise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it like a 4.7. Um,
Oh,
because I
nice.
liked how yeah, I liked how vibey it was. I don't have like notes on anything that I'm like, oh, I wish they had done XYZ instead. Um, I think I'm still like gearing up to have an experience that fully reflects that 4.7, but I didn't when I was thinking about other numbers to say out loud, I didn't want to say any of them. So that's where my heart landed. That's where my heart led me.
Also, Chelsea, you should add this to your list of great movies to just have on in the background.
It is a good background movie. Like I was really thinking about it like in terms of Monica Halloween parties, this would be a great movie to have on in the
Yeah.
background.
Mm-hmm.
No, totally. Totally. Guest appearance by Daphne. Um, okay, well, I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5. I I just think this is a really special movie. I don't know. I think I did see it in the exact right place to see it. And in case you want to know where the exact right place is, it's the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood with Nicolas Cage sitting 5 rows in front of you himself, and then immediately followed by a Q&A with Panos and Nicolas Cage himself. That's actually
Sure.
the best way to see it.
I can
Um
imagine that.
yeah, it was an incredible experience because I love Nicolas Cage so much and he was right there and that was so cool. And then also like this movie was fucking spectacular. And I was just looking at his IMDb and like I don't know if this is really like true and I think that he's been doing cool stuff for a long time and he has his ebbs and he has his flows, but I feel like since 2018 since this movie like people saw this and they're like damn Cage okay, and then I think that like he's been on an upward trajectory like since, and it might have started even before that. Mom and Dad was the year before, but Mom and Dad doesn't hold the same weight as this does. And like I was saying earlier, like this movie, like meets Nicolas Cage's energy. Like he is always so thoughtful with what he's doing, even if we don't fucking get it. Even if he needed a handlebar mustache for us to understand how funny it was, and he didn't get the handlebar mustache, you know, like he is always like doing 15 more things than you and I have any idea about because unless he says it in an interview, you're not gonna know. But like for this, like he was doing a certain scream and he was trying to embody Axl Rose. Like he was really thinking about like the context and all of that. And like he is an incredible emotive actor. Like it's a lot, it's too much a lot of the time for some people, but like this was perfectly right. And I don't know. It's just like it's not just him. Like he's a great part of it, but he's not even in the movie that much for the whole first part. Like I love this entire cast of characters. I love what they did with the cult. I love all the references. It feels familiar. It feels like it's making fun of some of the most horrific things you've seen. And like I love the stuff I didn't even get because I was not a child of the 80s and I haven't seen heavy metal, but I can still appreciate the artistry. So it really it's such a cool movie, and I'm so glad we finally have done it. So 5 out of 5, let's go. But that brings us to the end of Nic Mage. Oh,
It
my
was fun
heart.
while it lasted, Nick Mage.
Nic Mage. He's
Can you give him a little tear?
He's
Yeah.
shedding a tear. That's his tear. It doesn't look like a tear.
It
There,
looks like
he's
a tear to
crying.
me. I think it looks
He's
like a
crying.
tear.
I'm crying. I miss you.
It's cleaning away the blood.
I miss you. Love him so much. But that doesn't mean that the fun times have to end, and that doesn't mean we'll go back to normal episodes where we just do whatever movie. No, baby, the themes continue. What's next, Chelsea?
The themes continue, and up next, after May comes June, so you might have an idea of what's
Whoa.
going on because every
Oh
year
my
we
God.
do Pride. We do a Pride lineup every year, but this year we're getting a little more specific with it. So this year we are doing homoerotic thriller Pride, which is also a
Yes.
name that rolls right off of the tongue.
Uh-huh.
Everybody's been saying it, but it's just one of those things. There are so many thriller movies where a big heart of the film is homoerotic tension. So we're going to be diving into that. I'm so excited. And
Me
we're kicking
too.
things off. If you guys had missed us covering a vampire movie, don't worry, we've got you.
It's been
back.
2
We're
months
into
off. We're back.
vampires. We're back. So we are starting with 1983's The Hunger, starring David Bowie, Catherine Deneuve, I think is how you say her name, and Susan
Yeah.
Sarandon. And we will also be joined by our friends to help us cover this movie, Queer Cinema Catch Up.
Yay! I'm so excited. We've been on Queer Cinema Catch Up twice now, and it's been a blast both times. So we are honored to bring them here to
We
join
love
us.
them.
They're so funny. They're so cool.
Yeah, we've been talking about doing this movie for a long time. It's come up a
Yeah.
lot, but it has never made it onto the schedule. And then when they hit us up to do the episode that we did with them most recently, Thelma, they were like, we were thinking either Thelma or The Hunger. And we were like, well, we were actually thinking The Hunger for our homoerotic thriller Pride. So maybe we do a little bothy
So-
both and we'll go there and then you guys come here. So I'm excited that it's
Isn't it
coming together.
lovely when things work out? That is so nice. But yeah, I'm excited. Most of the movies that we have on the list for this month are ones I've never seen before. So I'm super stoked. And this one I've just like been hearing about it for so long, and everyone's like, "You haven't seen that?" And I'm like, "No,
No, I
haven't
haven't.
seen every
Yet.
gay horror movie. Come
Thank
on."
God there's a lot in the world and I'm only one girl.
Yeah, please, a lot of pressure.
We have to not see things so we can keep doing a podcast,
I
guys.
know. What
I
don't you want my
know.
reaction to be fresh?
Ugh.
But anyway, I'm excited to get authentically gay with you every single week for the next month. We're already doing that, but now it's gonna be gay for real on the screen, on the screen every time.
On the
So
scream.
on the scream. But anyway, why not say something nice to Nicolas Cage by writing us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts? We'll get the message to him. He's right here. You just saw him. I have a direct line, so the message will be received. And we still have a few I Survived the Planet of the April stickers. So if you write a review, a few hundred. No, I'm kidding.
It's a lot. To be fair, I haven't mailed any out yet, but there's a lot left if you want one.
We have
gonna get
them, so
there.
come and get them. Write a 5-star review and tell us about it, and give us your address. And
Give me your home address, and
Let
I'll
us
be
know where you
really
live.
and your
responsible with it.
social security number. No, not that last part. Anyway,
Only if you
and why
provide
not-
a credit card as well.
And why not follow us on social media? We promise we're not going to scam you. It's at spooky_Tuesday on pretty much everything except for Facebook and Tumblr, where we're at Spooky Tuesday Pod. Check out www.spookytuesdaypod.com for your one-stop shop of everything us. It's gorgeous. It's wonderful. And there's a link in there for our Patreon. Check that out.
That's
Ooh.
crazy.
We're having a good time all the time. We've just released, or when is this coming out? Yeah, we just released an in-person trailer review last week, and it was very funny. If I do say so myself, I will. It was hilarious. But yeah, we've got some really funny video content over there, and also our Discord is popping off every day, and we have, quote Chris, our own special Spooky Tuesday language. Don't you want to get in on that? Come on, get in here. And also we are on YouTube. Today I am Mandy. And I think I look just like her. And I didn't
You
even
look
do
pretty
my
good.
eyebrows. It's literally horrific when I don't do my eyebrows. But that's how she is, and that's who I am. And sometimes I think I should dye my hair dark. I don't know.
Something
Something to think
to think
about.
about.
Something to
Not
think
something to act
about.
on necessarily, but
Not for
something to think
summer.
about
I'm
at
not
least.
insane. But yeah.
For winter.
So
And I have theme shirt.
theme shirt,
So
and Sydney looks beautiful just the way she is
I'm covered
every
in
day.
cat hair.
Oh, she's wearing a SAG
he's
after
also wearing a theme shirt for media.
Exactly. SAG. Don't forget about the unions. Anyway, so subscribe to us, please, and also engage with our videos. Do a little like, do a little comment, watch them all the time because we're still trying to monetize. We're very close. We're not there yet. Anyway, but yeah. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for going on this crazy mind fuck of Nic May-ge with us, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye, spookies.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Great18. That's GR818_. And our podcast art is by Ryan Brom, who you can follow on Instagram at Ryan Brom Art. That's RyanBrommArt. Learn more about Spooky Tuesday at spookytuesdaypod.com and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/spooky_Tuesday.